Welcome to another Mr. Khan Maths video. In this video, I will be looking at multiplying whole numbers. The method I will be showing will be different in terms of the steps taken to gain my final answer, but nevertheless, it gives me an additional option of calculating answers to multiplication questions. I will be looking at a method which is known as the Chinese method, but can also be recognized as the lattice method. So starting with question 1, we are being asked to work out 63 times 4. So the first thing we need to do is create a grid which is 2 units by 1 unit and looks something like this. Now the 2 units across will allow us to put our number 6 and 3, and the 1 unit down will allow us to put our number 4. Once we have placed the numbers in the positions, we are going to split each square with diagonal lines. Now, make sure when you split the squares, you extend the lines a little, as this will help us to finalize our answer at the end. And once you have split the squares, they should look like this. Now that you have set up the question, I am ready to do my multiplication. So I'm going to multiply 3 with 4. So 3 times 4 is 12. So I'll put my 1 tens here and my 2 units here. Moving on to the next number, I'm going to multiply 6 with 4. So 6 times 4 is 24. So I'll put my 2 tens here and my 4 units here. Now that we have multiplied the numbers, we are going to be adding our diagonal columns up. So I'm going to start off with the bottom right, and I have my number 2. Because it's on its own, I'm going to bring it down to here. Moving on to my next diagonal column, I'm going to add 1 with 4, and that gives me 5. And finally, my last diagonal column has the number 2 on its own, and again I'll move it down to here. So I have my final answer, and the answer to 63 times 4 is 252. So for question 2, we are going to multiply 49 times 17, a 2-digit number by a 2-digit number. So in this case, we will create our grid 2 units by 2 units. So you should either have a square or something that looks like this. Now, it doesn't matter which way you write your numbers. So I'm going to put my 49 along the top, such as 4 and 9, and my 17 along the side, such as 1 and 7. Now, as we did for question 1, we are going to split each square with diagonal lines. Now, make sure to extend those lines a little, as this will help us to finalize our answer at the end. Once you have done that, it should look like this. Now, just be careful when drawing the grids, as it's probably the most challenging part when using the Chinese method. Once you have drawn your grid, have positioned your numbers, and have drawn on your diagonal lines, we are now ready to do the multiplication. So I'm going to start off by multiplying 9 times 1, which is 9. So I'll have 0 tens and 9 units. I'm going to multiply 9 with 7. That is 63. So I will have 6 tens and 3 units. Now I'm going to multiply 4 with 1, which gives me 4. So 0 tens and 4 units. And finally, I'm going to multiply 4 times 7, which gives me 28. So 2 tens and 8 units. Now that I've multiplied my numbers together, I can do my column addition. Okay, and where I'm going to start is going to be from the bottom right hand side. Because the 3 is on its own, I will bring it down to here. In my next diagonal column, I have 9, 6, and 8. And I'm going to add them together. So 9 plus 6 is 15. 15 plus 8 is 23. So as you would in column addition, I've got my 3 here, and I will carry over my 2. In my next diagonal column, I have the number 0, the number 4, the number 2, and the 2 I carried over from my previous diagonal column. I will add these numbers together. So 0 plus 4 is 4, plus 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. And finally, in my last diagonal column, I have 0 on its own, and I'll bring that down. So the total of 49 times 17 is equal to 833. So for question 3, I'm going to multiply 319 with 23. So a 3-digit number by a 2-digit number. So we are going to have a grid which is 3 units by 2 units and looks like this. Once we have drawn our grid, I'm going to position the numbers on the grid. So 319 across the top, 3, 1, and 9, and 23 along the side, 20 and 3. Now, as we did for our previous questions, we are going to split each square with diagonal lines. Now make sure to extend those lines a little at the end, as this will help us to finalize our answer. Once you have done that, it will look like this. And once you have drawn your grid, positioned your numbers, and have drawn on your diagonal lines, we are now ready to multiply the numbers together. So 9 times 2 is 18, which is 1, 10, and 8 units. 9 times 3 is 27, which is 2 tens and 7 units. Next, I'm going to multiply 1 times 2, which is 2. That is 0 tens and 2 units. And then I'm going to multiply 1 with 3, which is 3. 0 tens and 3 units. Next, I'm going to multiply 3 with 2, which gives me 6. 0 tens and 6 units. And the final numbers I'm going to multiply together are 3 times 3, which is equal to 0 tens and 9 units. Now, once we have multiplied our numbers together, we are ready to do our diagonal column addition. I'm going to start off with my bottom right hand side, the number 7. Because it's on its own, I'm going to carry it down. My next diagonal column has 3 numbers, the number 8, the number 2, and the number 3. I'm going to add these 3 numbers together. So 8 plus 2 is 10, plus the 3 is 13. Now, as you would in a normal column addition, I will place my units here, and I will carry over my tens. In my next diagonal column, I have the number 1, the number 2, the number 0, the number 9, and the number 1, which I have brought over from my previous column. I will add these 5 numbers together. So 1 plus 2 is 3, plus the 0 is 3, plus the 9 is 12, plus the 1 is 13. So as I did before, put my units there, and carry my 1 over. In my next diagonal column, I have the number 0, 6, 0, and the number 1, which I've carried from my previous column. I would add these 4 numbers together. So 0 plus 6 is 6, plus the 0 is 6, plus the 1 is 7. And in my final diagonal column, I have the number 0, which I will bring down. So I have got my overall answer to 319 times 23, which is 7,337. Now that I have shown you how to complete multiplication questions using the Chinese method, I would like you to have a go at Mr. Khan's skills check questions. Here you can see Mr. Khan's skills check questions. I'd like you to have a go at practicing what I have just shown you, so please press pause, and once finished, click resume to reveal the answers. Here are the answers to Mr. Khan's skills check questions. Check how many you have got correct and how you have got on. Thank you for watching. Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye for now and see you again soon.